Andy Stevenson at SBG Ireland, sitting alongside BDK, Kiefer Crosbie. The main event at Centurion FC, 2nd of July. You're finally back. It's been a long year. How's it been?
Yeah, it's been a long year. Yeah, I'm dying to get back in there now and get the ball rolling again, and get my hand raised and right a few wrongs, get back in the green. You know what I mean? So I'm buzzing to get back in.
Yeah. What was your reaction? I know you've been kind of looking for a matchup for a good while now. To finally have a date, 2nd of July in Malta, in a Coliseum, no less.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, it's been a long time coming. I had a few fallouts over the past 11 months with fights. You know what I mean? This isn't the first one that was scheduled. I had a few fucking since last September, and then October. There's been a few fallouts with my COVID and all that shit. It was just a bit of a disaster, you know what I mean? But here we are now, you know what I mean? So all that's in the past now. But this just came about. I was actually supposed to fight the week before it in England, in Wolverhampton, I think it was, in FFC. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
FCC,
yeah.
And the main event as well for a belt. And then this one came up, it was more money, Coliseum, Malta. I was kind of thinking, do I want to go to fucking Wolverhampton or do I want to go to Malta? So a main event as well, so it makes more sense doing this one, do you know what I mean? And bigger opportunity, so I'll jump on it. I didn't really care, to be honest, but my manager kind of pushed me more towards this one, do you know what I mean, and John, so here we are.
Yeah, I was just saying to you before we started recording, I went to Malta with my missus a few years ago, and it is an actual Coliseum that you're fighting in, is it?
No, a legit Coliseum, like it's hard to explain, you know what I mean, but it's like
it's like a fort, kind of, yeah.
Big fort. It's an outdoor event, you know what I mean, so it's like the bleeding Coliseum in Rome, do you know what I mean? It's going to be like an outdoor arena, big like floodlights and shit like that, and it's like wars were fought in there, do you know what I mean? It's like a little battlefield ground. It's mad, yeah. So when I seen that, my manager sent me a snap and was like, you have to just fight here, do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. It's either that or a fucking basketball hall in Wolverhampton, so it couldn't bleeding. It made me mind up.
It's a tough choice.
Yeah, so I said fuck it, yeah.
Yeah, and we'll talk about kind of the future now soon. To have the fight, is it a bit of a relief? I know you've had kind of matchups that were coming up and then they fell through, but now it's kind of out there, it's official. Is there a little switch that kind of flips now?
Yeah, big time, you know what I mean? It's like this is my job, do you know what I mean? This is like, it's like being out of work for a year nearly, in a way, do you know what I mean? But I'm still working away behind the scenes, but it's not paying off, do you know what I mean? That's kind of what it's like. And like, we're fighters, you know what I mean? But we're martial artists. It's like I'm an artist in a way, so I've been chipping away at my skills and they've been improving, but I can't showcase anywhere, do you know what I mean? And I'm in a weird position because, you know what I mean, I'm not signing a man, I've been offered fights everywhere. I've been offered deals with everyone, you know what I mean? The amount of fucking contracts that I've got thrown my way, obviously I have a huge name. I'm a big name. On the regional scene in Ireland, I'm probably the biggest name. Probably I am the biggest name really on the regional scene. Apart from anyone I've signed to a big organisation, so I just didn't want to sign another contract to anybody. I wanted to just be a free agent, have a few bout agreements and then push for the UFC. That's me ultimate goal here, do you know what I mean? So it's been very hard to get a bout agreement, do you know what I mean? Like just a one fight deal and then on my way everyone kind of wants to sign me for 4 and 5 fights, and I've even been offered 18-month contracts and all that kind of shit. I don't want to do that, do you know what I mean? My only goal is the UFC, you know what I mean? That's it. So right now this one is a nice opportunity, main event, get to make a statement, one fight deal, and then I move on to whatever's next after that, do you know what I mean? Maybe get 1 or 2 wins and then we'll see what happens after that. So, but I'm confident enough, 1 or 2 wins, and I don't see why I shouldn't be getting a contract thrown at me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I imagine it's probably pretty frustrating, when, as you mentioned there, this is your job, to then be not fighting. The last time we saw you was 11 months ago, it'll be almost a year by the time you fight again. Was it with Bellator? You mentioned yourself that you have a lot of support. You're a Dublin lad, a lot of support in Ireland. It was a bit surprising to, I think, a lot of people when you parted ways with Bellator. Was it a surprise to you when the news came?
Not really, no. Do you know what I mean? I appreciate everything Bellator are doing for me, do you know what I mean? And it was good to get that experience in, and it was good to get the few quid in as well, do you know what I mean? And that's the only real 2 reasons I was there in the first place. When I signed with Bellator, I was 4-0 coming off that Josh Plant fight, and I was on the dole, you know what I mean? So it was like, my goal obviously was always the UFC, since even winning that fight with Josh Plant, and that fight went viral, do you know what I mean? I went everywhere, and everyone, I made a name for myself that night. Everyone fucking seen it, it blew up, and me fucking following went up. People in the street were like, oh, I seen you. Everyone knew seen the fight, and I was like, fucking hell, but I'm still going to the post office on a Monday morning collecting me bleeding scratch, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's kind of embarrassing. And then when Bellator, when John, he called me into his office and said, look, Bellator are really interested and they want to sign you up, and it's a big contract, like a serious one. when I looked at the numbers, I was like, fucking hell, like I've never seen that much. I didn't think I'd be fighting for that much money until years down the line, do you know what I mean? And I had to weigh everything up. Obviously my goal was still the UFC and I still wanted it, but you know, my number one goal in life really is to take care of my family, you know what I mean? So you can't take care of your family making no money. So I had to just jump on the money, you know what I mean? And then the way I seen it as well, I'm forward now, you know, a bit more experience would be nice, you know what I mean? A few quid would be nice also. So I jumped on Bellator, you know what I mean? I stacked up a few quid, got some good experience, and I'm grateful for the opportunities they gave me. So there's no hard feelings really. And in my opinion, I only really lost one fight in Bellator, you know what I mean? If you think about it, you know, from an actual realistic perspective, you know what I mean? The only person that's ever beaten me in a professional fight is Georgie Cardacardi in my last one, you know what I mean? He submitted me fair enough, you know what I mean? The better man won that night. In fairness to him, I fucked up and made a little glitch, a little error, and then he capitalised on it with a choke that he's known to be good at, you know what I mean? The Charlie Leary fight is a no contest in my opinion, or the inexperienced doctor that stopped it, and I should have let it continue and we would have seen what happened. And then the other one with me the DQ was the easiest fight in my life. I went down and I absolutely bleeding ran through someone, like I hit him 36 elbows and KO'd him, not a scratch on me, and he won that fight. So it's very weird, you know what I mean, to sit here and think like, oh, I'm 8-3. I'm not, I'm 10-1, you know what I mean? Or if you want to call it a no contest, and I'm 9-1. So I've only ever been beaten once in my head in an actual fight, you know what I mean, in a real fight. So I'm not really taking those two on board as losses, you know what I mean? The only one to ever beat me is George, and I learned a lot from that. You know, coming off a bleeding bloke who has literally 46 professional fights, I've only had 10 at the time, 4 times more experience than me. I asked for him, they were throwing me bums, and I said, no, I want him. I want to prove a point, you know what I mean? I aimed high and I fucked up on the night, and it was good though, do you know what I mean? I learned a lot from it. I learned a lot from that fight, I really did, and I learned a lot from even being who I am and where I belonged in there. I felt mad calm, and there was nothing in there. It was like he had nothing from me until he caught me with a choke, and I was like, ah, fuck, you know. But I've done thousands around on the mats, you know what I mean? You can do as great as you want, and sometimes you just get caught, and it's in that millisecond you're like, fuck, you can't go back on it, you know what I mean? So, but again, it just made me more hungry to get better, improve, and go on and fight again, do you know what I mean? So yeah,
and you know, you talked there about, you know, wanting to fight someone like a Georgie Carcanian. I imagine, you know, you sound like you signed for Bellator to provide for your family for some money essentially. In the back of your mind, are you thinking, well, I also want to be the best in the world, and I also are you still thinking while you're fighting with Bellator, I want to be in the UFC? That's where, you know, objectively the best fighters in the world
always, you know what I mean? They knew that, and everyone knew that, and you know, I've been asked questions on interview, you know, I want to fight for the belt, and I was kind of like, no, and when you say that in an organisation, that's kind of like your mind's made up there, you know what I mean? I'm not a big believer in doing something for just the money. You have to be happy with what you're doing as well, and I was happy, but it was more so about the money, you know what I mean? And I wasn't fulfilled in a way. I wasn't too excited when I had a fight coming up. I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It was like a bleeding, I was doing it for the cash and the experience, and that's what I got, and that was fair enough. But as soon as I got the call off team and he said, look, you're released, it was like I was happy or something. I was like, alright, cool. And the first thing I said to him, right, let's get to the UFC. It's literally the first thing out of my mouth, and he just started laughing. He was like, right, love it. That's what I wanted to hear, because he said these conversations can go this way or that way. Some people go, oh, I'm going to think about what I'm going to do next, and I was like, right, cool, let's get to the UFC. That's done. It's done now. It's the chains are cut, and let's fucking make a plan here. You know what I'm saying? That was my goal. I mean, I literally went to bed that night nearly like, cool, relief. It's like, right, I'm done. I was going to fight out that contract anyway and try doing Michael Shannon on and jump ship, you know what I mean? But obviously it worked out different, you know what I mean? But as I said, here I am now, and again, my goal remains the same since I had since 2009 when I had my first MMA fight, and that's to get to the UFC, wrap that tricolour around my shoulders and march into that octagon. So that's my goal still, do you know what I mean? And it's still there. I'm still young, and I'm only getting better, do you know what I mean? So we'll see what happens in the next few months.
So going from, you know, you're fighting in Bellator and you're making good money to then getting released, and it's been 11 months now. I know you've got a young family at home as well. How has the last year been, going from making a good bit of money to now not having any fights?
Well, I made nice money, so I was smart with my money. Do you know what I mean?
You've a bit stashed away, so.
Stashed away, invested a bit. I'm doing good shit with it. I'm not a fucking idiot. I didn't blow it all. Do you know what I mean? I'm in this sport a long enough time. I've seen people making money and just throwing it all away, and I've people like myself making money and flipping it and doing good things with it, and I'm not spending it and just being smart. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's hard. Like, it's more so the inactivity that bothered me, regardless of the money. You know what I mean? I'm a competitor and I like competing and I like fighting, and you don't have a fight coming up, you just don't feel right or something. You know what I mean? As soon as I got this opportunity, like, everything got better in my life. I just felt like I had a purpose to wake up in the morning. I'm like, everything. You know what I mean? Every meal is better. Every time I'm in the gym is better. I'm showing up even earlier at the training and going to bed a bit early. Everything is fight related now. Do you know what I mean? When you don't have a contract signed, it's like, training's nice and all, it's great, but it's not like you're missing something, and not having a fight is the missing link for me. You know what I mean? I fucking love having a fight, set in stone, signing the contract, and having a fucking clear focus on something and somebody and a date. You know what I mean? So I feel like good now. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's right. So
what do you feel like when you don't have it though? Like, is it a case, like, do you feel a bit more irritated? Are you a bit more just pissed off? Like, when you don't have, you know, there's obviously the goal of getting better, but it's nice to have a fight date as well.
Oh yeah, man, you have to. If you're a fighter, you know what I mean? You have to have a fight coming up. It's as simple as that. If you're injury free, you have to have something in the pipeline. And as I said, it has been a hard year, and obviously COVID did fuck a lot of shit up as well. And like, I had other shows lined up, they fell through, and you know, stuff just fell through. You know what I mean? And that's out of everyone's control. But thankfully, we're in a spot now where the shit seems back to kind of somewhat normal. Do you know what I mean? So let's just bleeding fingers crossed that nothing happens in the next 5 weeks. You know what I mean?
So the last fight was at lightweight. I know you talked a long time about making the transition down. Am I right in saying this is back at welterweight now?
This is going to be a welterweight fight. You know what I mean? Unless they're going to pay me the big bucks, I'm not fucking. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be doing it for 16 weeks or whatever it was. The lightweight cut was grand, actually. To be honest, it was good. I'm thankful to have people like Tristan Kennedy in my corner, and you know, John Connor of the ISI, and I'm a very disciplined fighter, and I'm a very disciplined athlete when I have got a fight coming up. You know what I mean? And for that fight, it was nearly like a point to prove to myself that I could make lightweight. You know what I mean? It was like I knew I could make lightweight. So many people said, "Oh, you would never make lightweight," and I was like, I know I can. Do you know what I mean? And it's not a matter of like I'm gonna kill myself to make it. I actually made it relative. It was hard, but it wasn't that hard. Do you know what I'm saying? I've had welterweight cuts harder. Funny enough, you know what I mean? So I will 100% go back to lightweight, but it'd have to be in the likes of the UFC. Do you know what I mean? For the next few, no, I'm just gonna be float a welterweight, to be honest, or maybe a catchweight or whatever. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. Right now it's about just getting back in there. You know what I mean? Dusting the bleeding cobwebs off and just getting my hand raised, getting back in the green, and just going out and making a highlight of someone. You know what I mean? That's all that's in my mind right now. It's just fucking highlight reeling someone and moving on, and then highlight reeling someone and moving on. That's it. So that's my mindset now. Yeah.
So you're currently scheduled to face Iman Samargandi. I think I looked him up a little bit. He's a bit of a wild man, but it sounds like you've had a load of different opponents from talking to you, and you're not actually anticipating to potentially even fight this guy.
No, probably not. This going back to bleeding the start of my career. Do you know what I mean? It was like, man, I'd have so many different opponents chopping and changing. In the past 2 weeks, I've had like 5 or 6 names that were just getting thrown at me every day. The team was ringing me. I'm like, oh, it's this guy. And then originally I was supposed to fight this bloke, Walter Puglisi. Know him?
Oh yeah,
bleeding bloke with all tattoos all over him. He was like a bleeding colouring book. You know, man.
He's used to fighting Bellator, I think.
Bellator. It was me and him. We both signed it. We both agreed, and that was the fight. That was the whole thing. That was why both main event, good fight. 2, you know, ex-Bellator fighters, great scrap, experienced bloke. About 2 weeks after that, then he pulled out for whatever reasons. He couldn't travel or something, and then I had someone else 2 days after that. He pulled out. Then someone else. It was literally, this is what's happening every second day. I was like, who the fuck? What's going on here? And then I got to the point where I was like, the team, you know, I was like, I actually don't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? Just have something bleeding going on. I'm ready to go. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of these texts coming in. Oh, this guy. Okay, cool. Oh no, he can't pass a medical. Or it's gonna be this guy now. All right, sound done. Like, you know what I mean? It was getting to the point where I was getting a bit fed up, and then I said, you know, I actually don't give a fuck, to be honest. And then that's why I said to you, it's probably not even gonna be this bloke. So I'm not even gonna put too much thought or effort into looking him up too much, because I actually don't care, you know. And that's the way I used to be in the Bama days. You know what I mean? It was like I'd have this bloke on Monday and then this lad on Thursday. So I learned from that back in the day. I was like, don't put too much emphasis on them. Do you know what I mean? Literally focus on you 100%, because not much is going to change regardless of who he is anyway. That's the way I look at fights. You know what I mean? Like if someone walked in in here now and bleeding try to kill me, I'm not gonna like ask him what stance he's gonna stand in, or you know what his background is, or is he gonna throw at this, or I don't give a fuck. It's a fight, so I have to be able to fight him. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of the way I think of these things. So that's what I'm saying. It's about me more so than him. If it is him that shows up, great. If it's not, who gives a fuck? Do you know what I mean? So it's mainly just it's the Big Daddy show. Do you know what I mean? And I'm back, and I'm just dying to get back. Yeah, so I can't wait.
So you know, when people look at say fighters getting to the UFC, some will look at say, okay, if you get a win over a UFC veteran or a champion of this organisation or that organisation, when you look at your potential path to the UFC, how do you see it playing out? Do you feel like you need to beat X guy, Y guy, or is it just a case of your performances?
It's all about me, to be honest. I know the UFC are interested anyways. They're well aware of who I am. That's a fact. I know that for a fact, and they've expressed interest in the past. You know what I mean? Now I'm a free agent. That's the winning solves everything in this sport. That's it. You can say be him and you're in the UFC. It's not necessarily the case. I know fucking plenty of fighters that have beaten high level people, won belts in organisations, and they didn't get the call. What does that say? And then I know people who've beat absolute bleeding cabbages and they've got the call. What does that say? It means nothing. You just win, and if you have something, then you get signed. Maybe if you have good representation, a good manager, a good following, a good style, I don't know, a good highlight knockout. Who knows? All I know is 2 wins on the trot. I'm going to get the call. I just know I am. Do you know what I mean? And if I don't, fuck it, then I'll go again. I'll get another win on the trot. Do you know what I mean? So my goal now really is just to win. You know what I mean? Because as I said, winning solves everything. Absolutely everything. I tick all the boxes apart from coming off a loss. And that's a fact. So if I just get a couple of wins together, who the fuck knows? You know what I mean? But in my mind, I really believe that, you know what I mean? I will be there soon. Yeah. So
ideally, the next, let's say, look at the next year. How does the next year play out for Kiefer Crosbie?
Yeah, I want to stay busy. So this one, July 2nd, and then I have another one potentially lined up for the start of September. So, but again, I'm just going to focus on July 2nd right now. September doesn't even exist yet. You know what I mean? So let's just get the July one done first, and then a quick turnaround, jump back in September, and then by the end of the year, hopefully some big news. You know what I mean? So that's the plan, really. You know what I mean? So yeah.
So July 1 fight deal, September 1 fight deal.
Yeah, all my next fights are going to be 1 fight deals. As I said, I've been offered contracts. I've been offered multi fights. In fairness, you know what I mean? It's smart to sign me up. I am a big name, and I do bring a lot to the table. Of course, all these organisations are going to want to sign me up. And don't get me wrong, seeing some of the contracts was like, oh, it'd be nice if you quit, all right. But it's like,
so they're looking for you for multi-fight deals, then, are you?
All multi-fight deals. Every contract I've got offered is a multi-fight deal. No one's offered me a 1-fight deal yet. Well, obviously Centurion has, and a few others have. That FCC obviously was a 1-fight deal as well, but this one just made more sense. You know what I mean? But yeah, no multi-fight deal. Only next time I sign a multi-fight deal would be with the UFC. Done. So simple as that.
Kiefer Crosbie, main event at Centurion FC, July 2nd in Malta. I believe it's live on Twitch. There's a whole host of SBG Ireland fighters on it. Stephen Costello, Danny McCormick, King Cowley. I'm definitely missing a few more. Nate Kelly. There'll probably be more. Luca Pocklet. Pocklet, I probably butchered that name. Tune in. I believe it's on Twitch. We'll put up the details anyway close to the time. Kiefer, appreciate the time.
Appreciate
and potentially in the UFC, but this time next year.
Believe that.